Your performance really depends on three areas: at work and outside of work. And I want to talk about that today. Maybe you find it helpful for your private goals and even at organizations if you work somewhere. But also if you are an employee, supervisor, manager, leader, whoever, you are just about to enter the appraisal season. So you better be prepared. Don't go anywhere. If you are the appraiser and the appraisee, you're gonna have to know these basics about performance, because then all you're gonna do is enter argument, which that's not the purpose. Now, this process is probably the most hated process out of all the HR processes, and I can argue for and against the process. But it's not the process, it's the people who are corrupting it, the people who are ruining it. So let's discuss, and maybe, just maybe, we can get the best out of this flawed process. Because the process is flawed, it has so many problems, but the one thing we can't do right now, it's not within our power if you are an employee, getting rid of it. So what you have to do is go with the flow and make the best of the situation. And I would like to offer some help and make sense of it. Hi, I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I talk about everything and anything related to HR. Basically, I'm trying to make sense of the world of corporations. I never claim that I'm right. And with my videos, all I want you guys to think differently, think about it, view things from different angles. And my objective is always, which is in life as well, that university really taught me, that if I can't argue for and against something, it either means that I don't have enough information or I'm biased. So that's it. And therefore, every topic I talk about, I like to have both aspects. Like, yes, I can fight for it, I can die for it, and I can also go against it with good reasons. So let's talk about performance and the three areas. But before we do that, let me just say that performance management performance has so millions of angles, and I don't want to go into details. So we're gonna stick to these three areas. But before that, let's start with the brokenness of the performance management system in every organization and how normally we do that. There are two main types, and there is a hybrid one. So the one is purely goals, deliverables, measurable KPIs. These are your goals, you achieve it, you don't achieve it, you don't achieve it, finish the story off. Then there is the competency-based approach, which I absolutely hate and despise, because those are the opinion pieces. Those are not measurable, and that's the problem with performance management. At least the clear goals, those are measurable. Even with that, we have plenty of problems, but I feel it's more objective. And if the premise of and the basis of performance management or evaluation, that's another problem with that. So performance evaluation is that to objectively measure one's performance, then we need to find objectivity. And competency-based models, they are no objectives because those cannot be measured. Those are all opinion-basis observations which can be interpreted in millions of ways. So I hate it absolutely. And then there is the hybrid model where they use both, sometimes equally 50%, sometimes, different ratios they use to calculate the final rating. And one more important thing, which I just realized that I want to maybe mention: separate performance management from performance evaluation measurement. Performance evaluation measurement is during your annual appraisal when they close. This is your performance, that's the rating, that's what you get. Performance management is throughout the year, and it has everything: goal setting, coaching, mentoring, training, goal tracking. Everything else falls under. So measurement is the actual rating that you get. Now, Three areas that people often forget, and you guys always end up in argument. So I'm just running for the teams the annual goal setting and appraisal training workshop, which we always do every single year. It's the same story. And people don't understand the basics. So everyone's performance has three main elements. Once again, performance is nuanced, it's complex, but these are the three that you can link to other areas within performance. The first one is your skills, the skill set. The second one is luck, is your environment, or being unlucky. Within the context within the performance happens. And the last one is your effort. Now, performance depends on these things. And this is what people don't understand. And this is where they all end up arguing. So let's say there are good context. Let's say you have a very lucky year. The environment is conducive for you to achieve whatever goal has been set. For example, if you are a sales manager, the market is super easy. You don't really need to sell. You don't need to use your skill, your sales skill. You don't need to make so much effort because you open the door and the business is coming in. This is normally what is applicable to environment that are not very competitive, right? And there people get their crazy bonuses, crazy annual rating scores because they didn't have to do much. That I have seen, there are years that we have that, and that's great. I was always happy. Oh, this year I didn't have to put too much effort, my skills, we were really, really lucky. Now then there are years because performance fluctuates and you want your employees' performance to fluctuate from one year to another, maybe not 1 year to another, but over time, if you look at, sometimes I was 2, sometimes I was 3, sometimes I was 5, but overall it's pretty much averages out, right? Because none of us are superstars, especially not in the long run. I don't like those, always 4, always 5. Don't believe it for a second. Maybe you were 5 this year, but let's see over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. I'm sure it's not 5. Anyway, that's another element of performance management that we cannot really say that Sylvia is a fantastic employee when Sylvia has been with us only for 1 year or 2 years. We just don't know if she's deploying her skills, if she maybe doesn't need to make effort or too much effort she's making, or the environment is just so good that she can produce like crazy with little to no skill or little to no effort. So always think about those things when you sit down with a person and with yourself. How did I do this year? How much of my skills I had to put in and all that. Now, there is another combination. So the one is that everything is great, you don't need to do too much. Then there is this average. Okay, I now need to put my skills to the test because the environment is, is not really harsh, but I need to make some efforts to achieve the goal. This is where effort and skill comes into the picture because the environment is not very conducive for me to achieve these goals very easily. So then you start, and this is where the average employee comes into the picture because the average employee will have average level of skill and average level of effort they put in. It's simple. I know nobody wants to hear it, but yes. And then this is where we enter arguments. Then there is, when the environment is really harsh, the market fluctuates, something happens outside, maybe it's office politics. It could be anything within the environment that makes it super hard and difficult for you to achieve your goals. And this is where you rely on your skill set and your effort. Now, let me give you an example because people tend to understand examples better than anything else. Instead of crying that, I cannot do it, this budget is impossible, we are just out after the financial crisis. My general manager in London, I learned so much from that woman because after the financial crisis, 2008, 2009 and 10, 9 and 10. So London was on its knees. And occupancy in the hotel was really like 50%, can't remember now, but average, let's say low. For London, definitely low. And so we had the budget and all that, and she said, we're gonna make it. So she didn't start blaming and coming up with the excuses, because these are the cop-outs. I don't have the skills, I don't know what it takes to perform within that environment or in such an environment, and therefore I make it as an excuse. She didn't do that because she was extremely highly skilled. So she put in a revenue strategy that it required hard work. I tell you that. It required a lot of effort from operation, from us, to execute. And she was adamant. She said, guys, this is the revenue strategy and we have to make it. 2010, 2009, we made 1.8 million pounds above budget. So she didn't blame the market. Everybody was like, how did you guys do it? Now, it required a lot of effort. We closed the hotel 106% occupancy for the year, which is crazy, which meant we turned around rooms with crew twice a day and overbooked the hotel every single time. I mean, it was crazy. But hey, we made it. And you know what? It was tough. We got into it. At the beginning was like, you can't run operation like that. She said, yes, we can. And she helped us. She had the rooms division background and revenue background, so don't mess with those combinations. She eats you alive immediately if you say you can't do that. Because she had both areas of skill set and expertise, so she brought it together. In the meantime, other GMs who maybe had F&B background, who maybe came from other different areas of hotel operation, they didn't have that skill set and they couldn't work this out for themselves. Therefore, they said, oh, the business is slow for everybody and that's it. So they were the average. Yeah, the ones are blaming the environment. Now, and here is where argument comes every single year when deliverables are based on, or your achievement based on deliverables, your goals and KPIs. Because people start blaming, yeah, but you know, we lost this project and didn't. I don't care. Did you replace that project? Do you want me to change your goals towards the end of the year? Absolutely not. Never in my life we had goals changed. Now, I'm not saying not to change goals, because that was also not fair on anybody. But if you fail to react to the changing environment, if you fail to anticipate that this project is not going to come to fruition, if this source of revenue, we lost so many travel agencies during the years, all the time. So for us, it was always a backup plan because we knew how much each of these accounts produce. So you do your budget and you always have another 3-4 agency working with you because you know that you're going to lose some of them. So our GM would never accept, or the corporate office, oh, we lost the account. Okay, and what is your point? Did you replace it? Did you have a plan B? So your skill set of planning ahead, of anticipating, of having a plan B, C, D, E, whatever. We always have plan Z, I swear to God. To replace that revenue source, or whatever your job is really, you need to apply that to within your context. If you didn't have that skills, you're gonna end up at the end of the year blaming the environment. If you didn't put effort in it, you're going to start blaming the environment. Or I have seen also people put crazy amount of effort, worked really, really hard, but because they didn't have the skill set to do the right thing, they still didn't achieve their goals. And with the competency-based appraisal, or even the hybrid one, we also look at how you achieved your goals or you didn't. And that's why I always hate it, because when we introduced this, people really worked hard and we evaluated, okay, you didn't achieve your goal, you didn't give us the money, what we wanted, but you worked really hard. I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't care how hard you worked on the wrong thing, you didn't make the money. So I'm not interested in how hard you worked, because don't work hard, work smart, and you failed at that. So I'm not going to reward you for your lack of skill set. And it doesn't mean that you are not good at the job that you are doing. So don't misunderstand. We have all been there, and we can all be in that situation very, very quickly, because you can be fantastic within certain environment and context, but not in another. So you have the skills for this, but you don't have the skill set for that. You can do your job, but you can't do your job in here, in this environment, the same job. So for example, for hoteliers, I'm very good at opening hotels. I like high pressure environment, working towards a goal, open the hotel within the next 8 to 12 months, whatever. You don't sleep during this time, you finish out. I like that because I hate maintenance. I like building things. Once I build, I put the structure in place, everything is working fine, the hotel is running, I'm not interested. It's boring for me. But some people love that. And some people, how many times we have failed, we deployed task force for hotel opening, and these guys who were extremely good at running hotels, they were the best managers, the best leaders, they delivered their KPIs. They had we really thought that, yes, they are high performers. We put them into these hotel openings and they miserably failed. Not because they didn't have the skill set to run a hotel. They didn't have the skill set to manage projects and work under such a high pressure, plan ahead, anticipate everything that can go wrong with a hotel opening. So this is how you look at performance. And at the end of the year, you come and you sit down and you say, okay, so what happened during the year? How much of luck, how much of effort, and how much of my skills I had to deploy or played into my performance? And have that conversation. And I guarantee you, if you understand that, you will be okay with the 2.7 rating. I don't care, like put anything you want to put in there. Now I know that your bonus depends on it, but remember, when we start adjusting ratings because, but she worked really hard, then we are lowering the expectations and the standard for the following years. Because if you allow me to do that this year, because you saw that I worked really hard, and you know what, maybe I worked on the right things, but it's just luck failed me, and that's it. My rating, I still haven't achieved my goals. My rating is still the same. But if you now want to reward me for my effort, which is fair, I'm not saying no. All I'm saying is just what will be the repercussion, the consequences of that action in the coming years, because people need to think forward. You will teach people learn very quickly. So if you allow me and you take into consideration my hard work, even how good I am and skilled and working on the right thing, yet not achieving my goal, and now you make adjustments, which we often do with calibration process and all that kind of things. Let's consider her effort, we adjust the grade so she can get her bonus. You just taught me that, no matter what happens, I will always get my bonus. And next year, maybe I will not put so much effort into my work. And then I can come back to you, hey, but last year you did the same, and now why not? So it's always the long-term consequences. Keep the rating. This year, you don't get your bonus. I had years we didn't get bonus. Out of the 20 years, 10 years we got bonus, 8 years we got 10 years we didn't get bonus, 8 years we got bonus, and 2 years we got super bonus. We had years, in September we were already calculating our super bonus because we smashed the budget like crazy and all the other KPIs. And that was it. And 10 years, let's say 50% of the time, we already knew in July, it's impossible. That was it, finished. Nobody was bitter about it because I don't work for bonus. If it comes, great. I go for another mountain climbing. You know what I mean? I spend the money very quickly. But, or I buy another property or something. But I don't work for it. And it was okay. It was normal that, hey, And we didn't feel bad. Nobody thought Sylvia is shit because, or the whole team is shit because we didn't achieve the rating. No, this year, none of us achieved anything. Finish. Let's move and then, we will do it next year. And that's it. But people can walk around in corporations, and this is what absolutely drives me bonkers. I don't want this rating, I want this, but I'm not 2.7, I'm 3.2, and then he has 2.1, and then why do I have 2.3, and then I also get in the same band, as if their life depended on it. Like, put anything you want in that appraisal. Literally, my life not going to change, I don't care. But at the same time, it also has to be objective and fair. And I think when it's objective and fair, people might get, a little upset for a short period of time. I didn't get my bonus, it's not fair. But when people understand that why the rating, eventually they come around and say, they say, you know what? Yeah, that's true. That's the real performance. I didn't deliver my goals for whatever reason. And then there is a justification. And we understand the justification. We use that during calibration process, right? I hate the calibration process, to be honest, when we are just goes up and down. But that's another argument. I can argue for and against it as well. But leave the ratings as it is, unless the rating is unfair. Then you calibrate, then you do the whole thing again. But if the rating is fair, leave it alone. This is your rating. Next year, you try harder. Maybe you realize that you are not skilled enough for the position that you are in, or you get lucky. And that's it. I hope this helped. That was, 21 minutes, not so quick. But I hope this helped. And look at performance, even outside of work, applies these 3 areas to everything. How much effort you put into something, how skilled you are. And once again, doesn't mean that you're not good at your job. Maybe it's just the environment. So most people, skilled people, don't succeed in their roles because of corporate politics, because they don't manage the stakeholders, the shareholders, because they cannot navigate themselves around other people. That's also part of the environment. So think about everything that you operate within the context and which one it is that I'm not managing really well. That's your luck or unluck. So think about that. Bye.